This is Demon Mode Breakdowns, a series where we go inside the mind to take a look at my decision making, rotations, and approach to gunfights. At the beginning of this gunfight, I hear people running around above me in the square staircase. Rather than pushing up the stairs and potentially getting caught between two players, I wrap around to the next staircase and try and push my way up to have equal footing on the roof. Since they are fighting next to me and I am trying to flank them, I take my time coming up this ladder and check both directions to ensure that there's not somebody else also with the same plan. The reason for clearing out the left side is I want to be able to push these enemies without getting shot in the back. Once I push over the top of the roof, I prioritize which enemy I should shoot first based on who can actually see me. Since I'm in the direct sight line of the further player, I shoot at him first. Immediately after dropping the first player, I pre-aim the door just in case the second enemy gets aggressive and tries to challenge me for getting my thirst. At this point, I hear enemy number 1 start his self-revive, which lets me know that I have 5.5 seconds before he gets up and either runs away or gets back into the fight. Before going for the thirst, I jump peek the door to see if the second enemy is waiting for me or if he had ran away. Since he's behind the railing, I down enemy number 1 a second time to take him completely out of the fight. I hear enemy number 2 pushing me, so I pre-fire the door and down him as well, in which case enemy number 3 appears. Here I fake like I'm going to go down the stairs to try and get him to chase me. At this point I realize that I only have 14 bullets and it's faster to switch to my secondary versus reload. And as he pushes, I have a fresh magazine and I get the kill. Let's take another quick look at this last gunfight. Notice as he slides towards me, I release my ADS for a brief moment and return to hip fire so I'm able to rotate and get back on target. This is a pro tip for players that struggle with their SMG fights. And at the end of this interaction, we end up walking away with all 3 kills. In this next interaction, we have an extremely tight gunfight inside the green building. Right here I'm being chased, and I hear a slide. I burst through the second door to create a 50-50 so the enemy doesn't know which way to turn. And then I slide out the door and turn at the same time, anticipating that he's going to push this room, ultimately breaking his camera and winning the fight. In this next sequence, we were at Ashika Island and we had just landed in at farms. The most important part about landing in hot is you want to try and get a gun that you are competent with and then get your head on a swivel. Don't get caught lacking or looting too much. Right here, I end up closing this door, which ultimately gives me an audio cue that I'm being pushed immediately, at which case I get behind cover and pre-fire with a drop shot. And since I just pre-fired that angle, I make a read that he's going to challenge the other side, which he does. Once again, turning while sliding past the enemy and getting the kill. Here I decide to save some time by switching guns to go for the thirst and then immediately flee the scene. Since the gunfight just went down, I know that I've created a hotspot, in which case if anyone's going to push any room, it would be the one I was just in. And so I rotate out, replate, and reload. At this point, I want to move forward carefully and take brief moments while moving around to see if I can hear someone pushing me. And since the coast is clear, I decide to move out and I notice there's a guardian that's been placed in the far building. This tells me that there is an enemy close. I also end up getting spotted by a recon drone, so rather than running straight down this lane, I pull into this building here just in case I get pre-fired from the top of a building. Once again, also keeping my head up while looting just in case somebody swings the corner. I look up at my minimap and I see 2 enemies firing, but to my surprise, they weren't fighting each other as a third enemy appears. I fire at this enemy here, which makes the enemy in between us have to make a decision. He decides to push his original target, in which case I get to shoot him in the back for free. Something very special that I do here is when I see this enemy self-revive, I don't shoot at him and I also pretend that I didn't see him. This makes him believe that he actually has the ability to get this self-revive off, in which case once he gets up, I re-down him and now that is my kill. I see that enemy up to my top left, in which case I dive back into cover and get my first thirst. The other player bleeds out, in which case I've now picked up 2 kills. And then finally this last player, I challenge his aggression and catch him in attack sprint, getting myself a final easy kill. In this example here, we are landing top twins after taking the zip line out of farms.
The people that use that skin are pretty sweaty normally.
I make the call out that based on this Izzy skin that this player is probably going to be sweaty, in which case I was right. As I jump off the roof, I switch guns rather than reloading to try and save time and stay aggressive. But he knows that I'm pushing him and he knows that he's weak, so he decides to do the smart thing and run away. Right here, I make a very smart play, jumping up and breaking the glass. This gives him an audio cue that I'm about to push him up the stairs. But I know that he's still red screen, which makes it extremely difficult for him to hear. And since he's running with his heart pounding in his ears, he has no idea that I took the outside zip. And so when he finally shows himself, he's facing backwards, anticipating that I'm still chasing him. In this gunfight, we find ourselves right outside of farms in the warehouse. I hear someone coming from my left, in which case I sprint inside and then lane split the corner. I do this to buy myself time and ensure that I run the right way while trying to plate and get ready for this fight. I end up lane splitting a second time to make sure I know where the enemy is and so that I can be the aggressor when I'm ready. Ultimately getting to challenge the enemy fully loaded, fully plated, and aware of his position. Here I see a mosquito drone above my loadout, in which case I know it's going to hit me as soon as I grab it. The moment I get my loadout, I use my stim to recover the damage I just took from the mosquito. I also realize that whoever placed the mosquito drone is probably still close by, in which case my high alert goes off. I wrap around the fence to get concealment, and at the last second I see the enemy who's trying to push me. And since I'm fully loaded and fully plated, I challenge him aggressively and catch him off guard. After getting the kill, I end up sticking around for a second because I'm pretty sure that he is going to come back. This indicator on the minimap shows the enemy that you just killed flying in and where they are. And so I climb up onto the roof to get a clear shot at him as he flies in, and I get a free kill. In our next example, we find ourselves on the power plant at Ashika Island. Just as I'm about to take a look inside, my high alert goes off, in which case I hear someone above me pushing towards the stairs. So I pre-fire the door and have him run into my shots, completely catching him off guard and having him run for his life. And then I quickly reload while standing still to try and listen, in which case somebody lands in right above me. Since he just landed in, I swing him aggressively, but I notice somebody on the far side of the building. I anticipated this player getting aggressive, knowing that he just landed a shot, and I thought I'd catch him in an attack sprint, but rather he plays the head glitch on the AC unit. At this point I have no choice but to land as many headshots as I possibly can to get the down and save my life.
That was super sketchy, I'm gonna be honest.
If you like these in-depth types of breakdowns and you're someone who would like to improve their own game, I offer coaching for all skill levels for solo players and teams. If you're interested in coaching, please reach out to me on Discord, and coaching starts at as little as $30 per session. I'll be posting many more long-form videos just like this, so be sure to subscribe. And once again, thanks for watching.